You know, comparing a Pearl Capsule Urus to a regular Urus is like comparing a blowjob from your local teddy bar girl to a blowjob from Riley Reid. Not that I would know what that's like. Hey guys, welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks, and today we are going to be taking a look at the latest from Lamborghini, the Urus Pearl Capsule. Now, I've ordered this car. If you follow me on YouTube, you've seen the particular pickup of this car, and about 6 months ago or so, I ordered this incredible Pearl Capsule, which I could not be happier with. But people have been DMing me and sending me questions on YouTube saying, is it really that much better than a regular Urus? And the short answer of it is astronomically better than a normal Urus. And today we're going to not only review the car and see why the Pearl Capsule is, and specifically we're going to be talking about how it's actually not even more expensive than a regular Urus, and yet is significantly better in so many ways. So as we kind of talk about it, we're going to start in this very interior, where I think this is the biggest and most epic change for the Urus. It is the interior, and it creates a feeling that I can only describe as amazing. I know when originally the Urus came out, if you followed my review, I did say that the Lamborghini Urus was one of the most plastic and worst fucking SUV looking things on the road. Wide, looked very Audi-ish. It had a lot of boringness to it, and you know, I've had now like 5 different Uruses, and so throughout time I've gotten to really enjoy the car as a car, meaning the driving is fantastic, the tech is great, the usability is very Audi in a good way, because that's what you expect out of an SUV. The fit and finish was always a problem, and the fit and finish, including the design, was a problem because it was very Audi-ish and plastic, and I didn't like that. It didn't flow well with me. For that reason, the Urus as a whole was always a good SUV. I just never could justify the $300,000 price tag because, one, it didn't look it, 2, it wasn't that incredible. Now, the last one I had, if you remember, was white on blue, and it was really exciting. Like, the color was great, it was beautiful, and I fitted it with a Vorsteiner kit and a rear 1016 diffuser, and it changed the look dramatically, giving it a much more aggressive and beautiful look. And I said, wow, for once, the Urus actually looks good. The little bits of details made a difference. But it wasn't enough to still justify $300,000 price tag, especially because you had to add an additional $9,000 in body carbon fiber to basically make it look normal or cool, right? And so I was like, okay, well, that doesn't really work either as an SUV. There's just much better cars under that price point, right? And they're just much more original. They're not shared counterparts with Audi or anything. And I just don't see the 300 grand, right? But then at some point previously, there was one thing that had made my Urus more exciting, was when I had a yellow one, like a base yellow one. This was pre-Pearl Capsule. And I said, wow, the yellow really makes the car pop because it's very subtle and it just makes more sense. So maybe the brighter colors work better. So I've been seeing some purple ones, some orange ones, some green ones, and I was like, wow, you know, these brighter colors at least make the car more exciting. Maybe that's what Urus was supposed to be, kind of a brighter color car, and these subtle colors just don't do it justice. So all of these thoughts came to me, and I went through all of these Uruses, and then came the Pearl Capsule, which I had kind of seen, but I had never interacted with before I owned one. And then I actually got one, and through the suggestion of my buddy Wayne at Lamborghini Palm Beach, who told me, hey, you should really order one of these. I know how like your eye for design and for craftsmanship and for beauty and stuff and cars and colors, you're gonna really love this, and I know you love yellow, so order Pearl Capsule Yellow. So I said, you know what, on blind faith, I'm going to follow that move, and I'm going to do that. And then this car came. And something incredible happened. Well, the motor hasn't changed. It's the same bullshit. The car drives the same. The tech hasn't changed. Everything's the same. And that part of it is fine, because remember, we never had a problem with the Urus as it pertained to this tech We never had a problem with the Urus as it pertained to the drivability, the speed. None of that stuff was an issue. It was very reliable too. Like, so it wasn't an issue of dynamic. It was an issue of craftsmanship and design. Those were the two flaws. Now, while the Urus hasn't changed much in design, it has changed a little bit for the Pearl Capsule, and we're going to talk about what makes a significant difference in the design and why this is significantly better than regular Urus. But the main and most important part of the change is really the interior, which I've always thought the Urus did really poorly on. And in this particular case, it has upped it 10 fucking X all across. And that's one of these things that if you get a blowjob from a normal girl at your titty bar, you get excited, you're good, you're like, oh, okay, I feel better. But if you get a blowjob that's a world-class blowjob by like a grade A-list porn star, then you feel like completely relieved, right? You're like, I'm good for the next like 2 weeks. So like, well, maybe not, maybe like 2 hours. But anyways, that's a whole topic for another time, especially since some of you are probably, you know, mental masturbators at home at like 16 years of age, which would not work very well here to this conversation. I don't know, maybe we should edit. Yeah, let's just leave this part in. Anyways, so back to the point of the car. So one of the things that really does well here is that the interior has now upped the game to where it should be. And while none of the features have changed, the feeling is what they nailed this time. And it starts with the most basic things. The steering wheel, fatter, better, perforated, phenomenal, like just phenomenal. The feeling, beautiful. Like you just feel it, you touch it, you feel good about it, it feels strong, it feels exciting, it feels high quality. Incredible. 2, carbon fiber. Now, very standard in the Pearl Capsule in the middle, but now added here to the vents, floating together, flawless execution, rich, beautiful, and gives you a feeling of race and just sportiness that the other one didn't. Previously black, not bad, but not as exciting, not even close. The other part that I think really made the car is the same exact thing that Lamborghini did between the Huracan and the Performante, is they introduced really this Alcantara-ish interior that just completely revamped the car. And in this case, one of the things, if you follow me on YouTube, you've heard me say, is the Huracan Performante is one of the best cars I've ever driven, but the Huracan was one of the worst. So what made it such? It was the experience of driving it. And it's the experience happens in the details. It's not just the speed or this, that, because I always said the Huracan drove fine. It wasn't that exciting. The Perf was really exciting. The Huracan wasn't, but the craftsmanship made the Huracan shit versus the Perf really exciting. So the big thing I want to point you to is this black kind of like aluminum feel here that isn't available in the regular one. In the regular one, you have this basically previously in my previous cars, previous to the Pearl Capsules coming out, you had this in silver and it looked fucking awful. It looked plasticky, it looked terrible. And the main thing though, which I want to point you to, are these seats. The seats aren't really that much better. It's the inverted design. You see the yellows on the outside, the blacks on the inside, the stitchings in the middle, and you even get perforated so you can have heated and cooled seats, which is unbelievable. But the way Alcantara meets leather and carbon fiber and the black aluminum in this car is just an experience on its own. It's beautiful, it's exciting, it's Lamborghini. Something that we don't fucking get with the last 4 fucking Uruses I've had, even when they were yellow on the outside. So that's really what makes the Pearl Capsule so much hotter, is that regardless of you're like orange, green, this, or graphite or whatever, it's the design of the interior that comes together through this package that's absolutely incredibly beautiful and elevates the car to this 300K range, which is like, it's still a 270K car, but it elevates it to this range where you feel and you belong in a 300K car, not in a fucking 150K Audi that they basically disguised as a Lamborghini. It feels like 300K now, and for the first time ever, I actually fucking love it. And I didn't love any of my other Ursus. I enjoyed them and made them better. So let's go on the outside now and talk a little bit about what we're seeing on the outside that makes a difference in the Pearl Capsule. Follow me through. So on the outside, you clearly see the same body kit I had in my white one because I just added it on. An incredibly good look, very clean, very beautiful. You can see the carbon lines follow through, and it really, really makes the car. So I've said it in the last Urus video, but definitely get the Vorsteiner front lip. I think it's one of the best lips for the car, and get the 1016 rear. But let's talk about the Pearl Capsule. Outside of the yellow incredible paint, which looks 10 times better than the factory yellow, this is Giallo Inti, which is the triple pearl, like very rich yellow, and I think it is worth every penny. But on the surface, there are a few things that are kind of standard here in the Pearl Capsule that you see more so in the Pearl Capsule than other cars. In this case, we decided to not do the body colored panels and instead leave them gloss black, which I cannot recommend enough. I think it looks odd when everything's just yellow. But one of the things you'll notice that really does make a big difference is these arches here in black. I had done this in my Urus, but it was on my last one, but it was not standard. Here, these black things are standard, which really gives the mouth that opening, like you know it just wants you. Anyways, and that is what you really get from a differentiated standpoint. It's just perfection in the little things that make the difference. Now, you'll also recognize the Pearl Capsule because you get these matching yellow painted lines across the wheels that basically match the color of the car. So if you got it orange, and so on and so forth. But one of the things I really love about this is that while on the surface I hate pinstripes on wheels, I think it's very cheap and cheesy, but it just works so well in this car because it's painted, it's thick, and there's these little rivets here that stop, so it doesn't just create this straight line across, it's part of the design. And I think that's when you realize, wow, they actually put some thought into it. And then you follow through the rest of the car, you have color coordinated brakes and so on and so forth, and this little spoiler here that just really enhances the look, also gloss black, and this little top that was on the previous Urus too. But it's just really, you can see this with the carbon coming together, it's just enough carbon, black and yellow, and these little bits of details accentuate that 300 grand to come out. Now personally, I had decided to do stainless steel pipe instead of black to highlight this area and make it pop a little bit rather than just blend in with the carbon kit. That is a personal preference, nothing that you have or not have to do. And in the rear, you'll see that not much has changed. You have the same type of bench seat, you have some carbon fiber because obviously it follows the front, and nothing, you know, really different here. The one big difference though, you'll notice that's also available in 21 and is going to be available in 22 that wasn't available previously, is what they call the Lamborghini Eye. If you follow through right here, you'll notice this little camera in the top corner here that basically does what Tesla's been doing for 10 years, which, you know, big fucking surprise, they were ahead of it. But it basically records people if they're around the car at a time when you're not in the car, and you can basically watch it on your phone. So let's say I parked my car and I'm worried because everybody wants to take a photo of it or something, and as soon as you get near the car, the recording starts, and you can even have it recording while you're driving. So it's basically a dash-mounted camera front and one in the rear that allows you to continuously record, and it does that standard from directly from the company. You don't have to have a third-party dash cam installed, and this is a good thing because you don't clutter the top with some ugliness or anything else that kind of stays there. It's very organic, it flows, and it's beautiful. I will tell you this, the Urus, just like the regular Huracan, was just one step away from being what I consider to be the perfect version of itself. And I feel like while there is a word that an actual Urus STO is coming out, and I actually have pre-put a deposit just in case that happens to make sure I'm the first. And the only reason I would consider a more expensive Urus than this one, because I think it is still a pretty hefty price tag for an SUV, is simply because for the longest time Lamborghini has not and will not allow ad personam colors and features on the Urus, which means that because they do not, we are now forced to look at the Urus STO as potentially a car that they will open ad personam for. And I think one of the things you'll realize more and more in the world of high-end luxury, exotic cars, watches, or anything else is that there is a clear shift in the way people are purchasing things, is that there's so much more money in the world today, more people are buying things, and one of the things you'll realize is that exclusivity remains something that more people want. And with ad personam being closed on Urus, it makes it very hard to be more exclusive, which is why the Pearl Capsule gives you that balance in between, where it gives you that exclusivity, but just not really change anything, just perfect the little edges that we're missing, and gives you that 300 grand feeling. But I think with the Urus STO that's coming out, we perhaps are going to see ad personam open, and because of the limited number of cars, give more personalization and more excitement around the car, which I think will make a significant difference. So my final verdict, basically the Pearl Capsule is no different than getting a blowjob from Riley Reid, while the regular Urus is basically like getting a $200 blowjob from the local titty bar. There is a difference, and it's not just in the money, it's in the little details and the hand strokes that make the difference. I will catch you next time, and make sure, if you don't understand how it's possible, as so many people are buying these and making money doing it, remember that there's a $100K premium in the used market for an Urus. That means a Pearl Capsule actually selling used for $349,000 when the MSRP on this one was only $270. Now, flip it or not, personally, I'm keeping this one for at least a year because I need a daily driver to go with my rolls, but something to consider for those of you that didn't know. Again, there is money to be made in this industry, and more importantly, outside of just flipping cars, there's an opportunity to drive for free. So if you don't understand what this is, there's a free training link in the bio. You should join it. Learn, it's completely free. I put it out there to educate people on why the car market is actually a great place to invest and literally put your money and stop becoming a consumer of the system. So remember my famous saying, people get rich to buy shit. We get richer buying shit. So I'll catch you next time on Exotic Car Hacks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay rich.